Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to continue on from last week with my tests on the forged faced irons, so let's get stuck in. So here are this week's 5 heads: the Srixon ZX4, the Titleist T200, the Edel SMS, the TaylorMade P790 and the Miura PI-401. So before we jump into the results, just have a quick look at the specifications of these 5/7 irons, and some big differences here, notably with the Edel SMS at 32 degrees for the 7 iron and the Srixon, the ZX4 at 28.5, so 3.5 degrees of difference between those two, so you're probably going to see some differences in the results because of that. The other ones, 30 degrees for the Miura, 30.5 for the TaylorMade, and 31 for the Titleist. The lie angles a little bit closer together in this batch, with the T200 from Titleist being the most upright at 63, and 62 degrees from Edel and Srixon being the flattest ones. So here are the results, and this batch is much closer together than the first 5 from last week. So with Miura, TaylorMade, Edel and Titleist pretty much the same ball speed with all 4 of those. A little bit more with the Srixon, which is completely logical being that there's less loft, so that's logical going off a little bit quicker. It's also the reason why it's going off a little lower as well. So the 2 lowest launch angles were from the Srixon and from the Miura. And then we have pretty much yet again everything pretty much the same with the Taylor, the Edel and the Titleist. So definitely a shout out to Edel with the 32 degrees getting pretty much the same ball speed as everybody else. So that's definitely interesting to look at from their point of view. I think if we were looking to get the ball higher in the air, I would definitely be going towards these 3 here. And if we wanted to lower it, we'd be looking at Miura or Srixon. Spin is still a factor for me here. I think these are all too low, but I mean these sort of clubs do tend to do that sort of thing. We do tend to have a little less spin with these clubs. Obviously the lofts being a little lower as well, that doesn't help, but if I was looking to play with these, I definitely want to get some more spin with all 5 of these clubs here. Main difference in the carry, obviously yet again, it's going to be the Srixon. Ball leaving faster, less spin, obviously at more distance, but way too much difference for me between where it's landing and where it's finishing. Now we take a deeper dive into the data. We can see that the efficiency is following a certain logic, i.e. the lowest lofts having the highest ratios here. So with the Miura and the Srixon 138. Also definitely a shout out to TaylorMade here with 138 with their one, which was, I think it was 30.5 degrees of loft, and Edel being the lowest, obviously with the highest loft. Swing speed was pretty much the same, a little boost with the Edel and the Srixon, but pretty much the same with all these clubs again. And you can definitely see the differences in dynamic loft affecting the launch angle and the spin, with the Miura and the Srixon being the lowest. So just logical stuff following on from what you've seen on the previous screen. A little bit more loft, bringing that ball down a little bit more, reducing the spin. You can actually see maybe that with the Srixon my angle of attack was a little bit shallower, maybe just me trying to get the ball a little bit more in the air with that one as well. So definitely just way people react to different lofts. But all logical stuff following the first page, and obviously following the lofts, the dynamic lofts we have on these different clubs. So with so much data, I decided to create 4 different categories, i.e. ball speed, launch and spin, distance and feel. So in the first category, ball speed,
My top three come out as Mizuno MP225, followed by the Cobra Forge Tech, followed by the Srixon ZX4. So in the second category, i.e. launch and spin, I got a tie, which is pretty much Ping I-525 and Wilson D9 Forged. So those were the two that gave me the best launch angle and the best spin. I was definitely looking for more spin with all of these clubs, but these were definitely the two that came out with the best ratio of the 10. But I could definitely mention also Edel, TaylorMade, the P790, the Apex, and the Titleist. So there's quite a big battle in those, so they were actually quite close together. As far as distance is concerned, there's only one winner, and that's definitely the Srixon, the ZX4, but we could also argue that's the club that had the less loft. But anyway, that's definitely the one I hit the furthest. As far as feel is concerned, the ones that felt best for me, number one was Mizuno, the MP225, second place was Edel, the SMS, and the third place, surprisingly enough, was actually the Srixon, the ZX4. Even though it was a little bit large, the feel of it was actually quite soft. So I could definitely say with all these clubs, there's no bad clubs in all of this. There's lots of different things. Some clubs are going to be more interesting for certain players. Some people are going to like the feel more of other different clubs. But for me, as far as looks were concerned, I liked the way that the T200 looked to me. The top line, the thinner top line was nicer. Feel was definitely Mizuno for me. I think probably the best combination for me was the Mizuno. Maybe if I could just get that to launch a little bit higher with a little bit more spin, that could be a very interesting club. But I think all these clubs are pretty much made to gain on distance, and that's why the spin is a little bit lower. So these clubs are sort of a compromise between tolerance and feel. So this is why you have the spin, which is quite low. But it's a good compromise. It's definitely a category of clubs which are going to interest a lot of people. They're definitely playable, and some of them are quite nice as far as feel are concerned. But pretty much something for everyone in this category. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon for some more videos.